Jenny here, the Prevention PT, and today I want to talk to you about what I think about yoga as an exercise, and an exercise particularly for pain and chronic pain. So there's a lot, just like every exercise program, there's a lot of positives and there are some negatives that I think we need to keep in mind whenever we consider an exercise program. And in particularly with yoga, a lot of times those programs really emphasize stretching, lengthening, getting a lot of flexibility within your joints and your muscles. And where there's a balance, just like mama bear, papa bear, baby bear, there's too much, there's too little, and there's just right. So when you're participating in a yoga program, what you want to consider is not just doing a program that just focuses on nothing but stretching, a lot of different stretches, and excessive flexibility, hypermobility as we call it. Our muscles actually provide a source of stability to our joints. So when those muscles are really, really stretched, they're not able to support our joints as much, and that can cause injuries. Also, what we want to consider is just being overly flexible. Is it really necessary, or do we want to focus our time and energy more on working on different muscle groups to prevent injury? So that's kind of the first thing, is if you're considering a yoga program, really kind of pay attention to what are they focusing on in this program. Is it just stretching, or are they kind of doing a combination of different movements that aren't just stretching? And so that kind of brings me to my next point, is if you're working on a yoga program, especially if you're new to it, I really recommend going to an actual class and with a physical teacher there. I know that's hard during COVID, but once everything kind of starts to open back up and you're able to get out there, or even just maybe book a private session, having someone there who can talk to you about your particular form can be really beneficial, especially if you've had injuries or you're more prone to injuries or pain. You really don't want to just jump into a new program like that, because that could cause you to hurt yourself if you're, doing the positions incorrectly. So that's another thing with yoga. A lot of those videos, they do give you some alternatives to make it a bit easier, a bit safer, but it is hard to promise that, you're not going to get hurt when you're trying to follow these programs and keep up with the video. And that's where a class can be really beneficial, because the teacher can actually see you and help you change your form and do the exercise or the position as safely as possible. So anytime you're considering starting a new program like that, I really recommend doing it in person or talking to your therapist and have them kind of talk you through, what positions might be better for you and what positions you might want to avoid, or, what poses you might want to avoid. I want to focus on now is actually the things that I really like about yoga principles and the poses, which is that I really like the fluidity of it. It flows from pose to pose, at least if your teacher's doing what they're supposed to do, which is really natural, and it really kind of simulates our natural movements, which is really good for our muscles to learn and to practice those movements and being engaged in different positions and changing positions, which can really help with chronic pain or with your risk of injury. It can reduce that when you're strengthening those muscles in that way. The other thing that I really like about yoga is it focuses on breathing and engaging your breath with the exercises. What we do a lot when we're exercising just on our own is we actually hold our breath to do the exercise or try to get through those reps. But we want to be breathing in and out and focusing on that breath. That can also help if you have anxiety or stress related to your pain. It helps really focus on your breathing and getting that oxygenation and that calm. I also really like yoga because a lot of the poses really focus on engaging your tummy muscles, those abdominals, your core, whatever they call it, these muscles in your stomach, which are really, really important and a lot of times need strengthening, need engaging, especially for people with chronic pain or injuries. So I really like that about yoga, that they focus on engaging those tummy muscles with your breathing, which is really important, because a lot of times when we tighten our tummy muscles, we want to hold our breath, but we really need to be able to engage those tummy muscles, those abdominals, while also breathing normally. So I really like that about yoga. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I really like about yoga practices is the meditative component of that. So a lot of the practices that I've done start or end with some sort of a meditation practice, of breathing, focusing on the inhalation and exhalation, what that feels like, calming your mind, and just being able to rest your mind. And one of the reasons that I feel like this is so important is because pain is perceived in our mind. So when we have pain, the signal has to reach our brain for us to be able to perceive it, to feel it. And when our brain is maybe not healthy, if it's riddled with anxiety, depression, stress, overwhelm, we can perceive that pain as even higher or even more than what the signal from our body saying, ouch, my knee hurts, this is a 3 from here. But when our brain's not healthy and it's going a million miles, it might perceive it as a 6, a much higher number. So focusing on keeping our mind healthy, addressing anxiety, depression with therapy, and I think meditation are, really helpful for reducing chronic pain. And there's actually studies, there's a systematic review that I'll put in the comment below this video that kind of reviewed 38 studies on meditation and how that affects pain. And they found that, in general, it improves pain, depression, and quality of life. Now, we need to see more studies, so we can't say this is 100% definitive. Yes, meditation will help you. But it looks like, from the studies that are being reviewed and the studies that are out there, that it does improve pain, depression, and quality of life. That sounds great. And it's a pretty simple, easy thing to, initiate into your life if you're not already doing that, to implement into your life if you're not already doing that. So that's another big piece of yoga that I really like, is that they incorporate that meditation within your exercise practice. And it helps you kind of calm down and really appreciate that you were able to exercise and able to get through that program and move on throughout your day. So in general, I would say yoga is great. There's a lot of really positives to it. Again, I think that going to a class, particularly a class from a teacher that focuses more on, muscle engagement and proper positioning over just stretching, lengthening, flexibility, I think that would be the best option for you to reduce your risk of injury and chronic pain. If you, have any questions or comments, please comment below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. If you have anything you'd like to ask or, future video ideas that you'd like to see me do, please comment below. I'd love to do that for you and answer your questions. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.